you'd still think that's 4 points dropped from Oxford, which is all good for us because
shitting themselves, aren't they? Shitting themselves.
early doors. They've gone early doors, haven't they? They've bottled it. The Pompey Pod with Mike and Dan. This is your weekly roundup of Pompey reviews and games. What we got going on this week is we're going to look at 2 games to review this week. Well, 2-ish games. Got the Cambridge game and Reading. The weekend just gone. 2 away games, 4 points. It's all looking rosy still, Dan, isn't it?
It's all right, isn't it? It's all right.
It's the rosy. Yeah. We've extended our lead at the top. Oxford have slipped behind, letting Bolton in behind them. So we have extended our lead despite the fact we dropped points at Cambridge. Let's start with Cambridge. Here's an overview of the game then, Dan. 0-0. Yeah. Highlights for you? Any positive points we can take from that game? Didn't lose.
That was a positive, yeah. Cambridge... they started all right, actually. They came out and sort of came at us for about 10 to 15 minutes. Looked like they were really up for it. But then once we sort of weathered that storm, I thought we took control of the game quite well. Again, without creating too much. We had a sort of half chance that Kamara had in the first half, a looping shot that sort of came back off the post. And then Bishop had his shot deflected. Other than that, it wasn't a great game. And then in the second half, I thought, again, we came out and we started really well. And I thought, we're going to get a goal soon and then sort of kill this game off 2-0 or 3-0, like you predicted.
That we predicted.
But,
me.
But it wasn't the best, but it wasn't a defeat. I just thought when you looked at the Cambridge centre-backs and they had Ryan Bennett of ex-Wolves and Norwich.
Right. Yeah.
So he must be getting on a bit now. And Michael Morrison was the other centre-back.
Return of the Mac.
Return of the Mac. So, and he actually played quite well. So you'd like to think that up against those two, you'd maybe get a goal, but
you'd get some chances at least, wouldn't you?
Get some chances, yeah. And then, we had Ogilvy back, and he went off after under 10 minutes, I think, injured. I still don't know actually what happened there.
Yeah, I've not seen an update on that as yet.
No. And it wasn't great. But no real bad performances, I don't think. I know Kamara's been sort of getting it in the neck a bit lately, but I don't think he was any worse than anyone else. So a bit of a nothing game, but it's a point. It's another clean sheet.
Point away from home.
Yeah, and the only other thing I thought was that he put Yengi on. I think he put him on in sort of like
really
the 90th minute or something. Yeah, really late.
late.
And I just thought, if you're bringing him on to get a winner, I'm surprised he didn't do that at least 10 minutes earlier. I don't know whether he was. I don't know whether he was going for the win or not.
I saw that and I thought, is he thinking? Because there was only about 5 minutes of stoppage time, I think, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Was he thinking there was going to be a lot more? Obviously, there was loads at Reading, wasn't there? There was like 10 minutes per half stoppages. So, had he come on with a minute to go against Reading, there would have been plenty of time for him to get involved.
Yeah.
But I think to bring a striker on in literally it's the 89th minute, wasn't it? It's like, tough to do that. Maybe 5-10 minutes earlier might have been good.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought, but he didn't. And the other thing was Sadie started, and I'm beginning to come around to the idea that he is an impact sub now, because whenever he starts, he doesn't seem to have that same effect as he does when he comes on.
He does seem to affect him more when he comes into the game, doesn't he? Yeah. I don't know why that is. Strange, isn't it?
Strange. And there was one other amusing thing, although it was a pretty piss poor game. Michael Morrison, there was one bit where Kamara went in on their goalie. It wasn't bad. It was a little bit late, free kick. And then Morrison was sort of like speaking to the ref, So Morel must have ran 20 yards to run over to Morrison and push him over, because obviously he hasn't been booked or sent off for a few weeks. So he just thought,
Right, yeah.
and then Morrison just laughed it off. And as he was walking away, he looked at one of his other players and winked as if to
really?
go, there he goes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was quite amusing. He obviously just thought, let's see how long it takes before we can wind Morel up.
Wind him up. How early in the game was that?
Oh, that was quite late. That was sort of midway through the second half.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they know, don't they? But to be fair, I think he hasn't really shown that for a while, has he? I saw some comments today about Morel, and it was saying about how he has been consistent. He's stepped up since Pac's been away, and he's actually been consistent since the World Cup, really. And then, which I agree with, all of that, I agree with. I think he's been excellent this season. He's been very consistent, and he has been kind of very much a leader, which is something I didn't think he was at all leading up to the World Cup, which kind of suggests that he was just trying not to get injured because he wants to go to the World Cup, which is wrong, but you can kind of, to a degree, understand it. But the one thing I didn't really agree with is that he then went on to say he's also a scapegoat when he gets his silly yellow cards, where it's like it's silly second yellow cards, and it's like but it's not one of those situations whereby you've got these talents like a Cantona sort of person that if you took the anger out of him, he's half the player he is. I don't think that anger makes Joe Morel what he is.
No, they're usually just silly. They're silly fouls, aren't they? They're usually silly.
They're petulant.
Yeah, petulant. Yeah.
Little childish, little kind of. Yeah. It is literally the sort of thing you see in a under 15s game, isn't it? And you just think, God, don't do that. But in the under 15s game, they'll be let off generally.
Yeah, I agree that he's been quality, and I think for the last 5 or 6 games, he could have been man of the match quite easily in any of those games. I think.
Yeah. He's definitely been the best one of Pompey's top 3 players in each of those. Yeah, which shows his consistency. How do you feel? Let's move on to the Reading game as well, because we'll include this in it. But how do you feel about the Morel-Robertson partnership in midfield? Because I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought Robertson was going to be a bit more attacking. But I think he's done well to sort of slot in that pack role now as well. I think he's getting stronger. I mean, I liked him. I thought he's a really good player, but I wasn't overly I wasn't going mental about his performance.
You felt he had flashes in the games.
There was but I thought, especially against Reading, I was going to say that to you, that he would have been my man of the match, I think, against Reading.
Okay.
I just thought it was really good, and just he just looks a lot stronger, good on the ball. He's quite tough considering he's only young. He gets stuck in, and he's good in the air as well. And I think it's only a matter of time until he gets a goal, which I'd like to see.
He covers some ground as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He moves around a lot, which is good. So let's talk about Reading. So Cambridge, obviously 0-0, got a point away from home, fair dues. We'll take it. Move on to the next one. I think we expected to again get a spanking against Reading, because obviously they've been out of sorts. There's all sorts of issues going on there, isn't there, with their ownership and what have you. And obviously there was a protest prior to the game, but it didn't go that way. But interesting starting lineup, I thought. Andrew out on the left. Devlin came in for his first start in behind Colby. What were your thoughts initially on that? Were you kind of pleased to see it? Were you a bit concerned, or?
A bit concerned with having Andrew on the left. Yeah, again, he was when he had the ball, he was quite productive. He looked. I think he's another one that's going to be, once he can get sort of 90 minutes, or however much it is now, 100 minutes under his belt, he's going to be all right. I think he'll be a good player. So he was okay. Took his goal really well. But again, started off slowly. And Devlin in there, which I was pleased about, because I think we spoke about him a few weeks ago, didn't we? Yeah. Saying we'd like to see him get a chance. And he didn't do a hell of a lot. He didn't do much wrong, but he got the winning goal. which was nice to see. So it was a bit of a surprising one, but I think Kamara was always going to be left out. I think
it was time for him to be rested, wasn't it? I think he'd started the season kind of dull. I thought he then came into a few games and then he's just started to fade out the last few games, hasn't he? So I think it's time for him. And I think maybe if someone, I don't know if White had been more impactful in the opening games, or maybe if Scully had been fit, maybe he would have been out of the team already. But obviously neither of them have. Well, obviously Scully can't play, but so obviously went 2 goals down. Both goals pretty well taken goals, but it is what it is. But then obviously back in the game, Andrew's goal. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, really good, really good. Well, that's what we were 2-0 down, and then again I thought we took control of the game, and it's that belief again that there's no there doesn't seem to be any panic even when they scored the second goal. It wasn't like our players were standing around screaming at each other. They were sort of, you could see them just going, right, come on, then let's go, and trying to pick each other up, and they took control of the possession, and then that was a good goal. The first goal, it was played out from the back. Loads of room for Morel, sort of in that CDM position. I think he might have done another pass, not sure, or then he passed it out to Lane out on the wing. He put a ball in the box, and Andrew came in late, just sort of edge of the box. And,
well, it wasn't a bosh actually, was it? It wasn't a bosh. It was more of a stroke.
No, it was more nice side foot stroke.
And
a hard one to hit as well. Yeah,
really difficult. It was almost a loopy sort of ball down, wasn't it? And me and you being the kind of goal scorers we were back in the day, we know how difficult it is to put that. Obviously, we hit it most of the time. We do it if it wasn't that much of an issue, but we know how tricky it was.
Would have gone top corner myself, but
mine would have gone probably on pitch 5 of King George's if we were playing on pitch 1.
So that was good.
Yours would have gone top corner. That was nice.
So that was good, and nice. Well, I say we took control of the game, which I think we did, but then they had that really good chance. I don't know whether you saw it. How did it come about?
It was Savage picked up the ball in midfield. Well, kind of in their final third, really. He picked up the ball. He did play. To be fair, I don't really know Charlie Savage. I assume he's a bit like his old man, but he actually played a lovely ball that split our 2 centre backs. It was a bit concerned because I think it was shocked to see kind of went to grab him, which probably would have been a red card.
He did. That's right.
And then I thought Norris was going to take him out because it looked like he thought about it and then probably thought twice, and then somehow he popped it over the top, didn't he?
He should be hitting the target, really, shouldn't he? Even though
it's more difficult to get high on it.
25 yards out, you'd still expect him to hit the target. But so we got away with that one. And then and then we just controlled the possession. And then fortunately, because of tennis ball gate, we had 9 minutes of injury time, or whatever it is, 9 minutes of added time, which we scored in. So,
what was the tennis ball gate? What was that?
They kept chucking tennis balls on the pitch, didn't they?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I didn't see that. Because they had to do. There was even a thing over the tannoy from their announcer saying, "The referee."
Oh, is this about the protest?
Yeah, and he's the referee has stated that he will abandon the game if you chuck any more tennis balls on the pitch, basically. So then they stopped doing it. And then because of the added time for all the tennis balls being taken off the pitch, they that's why there's not 8-9 minutes.
Oh, I didn't realise that was why. So did that happen in the second half as well?
No, they didn't.
It's just crazy amount of added time in the second half. So now Bishop's goal. I thought it was offside. What do you think?
Well, when I first saw it, I thought there might have been a glimpse of offside, but there was no. I haven't seen it from different angles. There was no protests and no. So I don't think.
I've watched it several times, and from the angle where the main camera is, I only watched the highlights because I was away in Wales. But I've watched the highlights and I've watched that bit several times. I thought, the first view, I thought, oh, he looks offside there. And I've watched it several times since, and I'm still not convinced he's not. Because he kind of wanders offside, then kind of brings himself back. But it looks like he doesn't quite bring himself back. But he obviously does. There's no, like you say, no protests at all from any of the Reading players. So okay, well, we take it. We take it. Going at half time, 2-2, and 58 minutes. 58 minutes, around 60-ish minutes, wasn't it? Young Tez, young Terry, 19-year-old Terry. Lovely finish, great goal all round. I thought. Going back to what you said about Robertson. Robertson was the instigator of winning the ball back in the first place, wasn't he? And then he had that nice little passing move. Sparks, Bishop,
and then Robertson then pinged it out, didn't he, to Sparks out on the left?
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to cross it first time, but he took an extra touch. Crossed it in. Bishop nodded it down. Devlin on the volley. Lovely stuff.
Good movement from Devlin, I think. And he's to be fair, I know it's fairly. You'd expect most people to take it, but he is. You factor in the fact it is his debut and 19. Probably one of the bigger, well, definitely one of the bigger grounds in League One as well, isn't it? So he probably wouldn't have played in anything of that sort of size with that sort of crowd in front of the Pompey fans as well, which is nice.
Yeah.
Right, nice.
Yes, very good.
Now,
and I just wanted to say,
go on.
62% possession against Cambridge and 61% against Reading as well.
Yeah, I think we had twice as many completed passes than Reading as well, which is good. Now, this typifies Portsmouth. If there is ever a quote to typify Portsmouth, so obviously we scored.
Yep.
Our group chat, get in, never a doubt, and then the comment, plenty of time left to fuck this up yet. Now, that wasn't us,
though, was it? Yeah. That's not me. That's not my.
No,
because I'm always positive. So
it's neither of us. But that's not. I imagine there's a lot of Pompey fans thinking the same thing, because until this season, that's exactly the mentality, isn't it? You would think you go in, and even if you're 1-0 up, even if you're 2-0 up, with 5 minutes to go, you wouldn't think, well, this is safe. You'd still be a bit nervous. If you think back to like those Gillingham games when that Gillingham game when we brought on, I think it's Burgess, an extra centre back. They had 9 players and still managed to grab like a 93rd minute equaliser or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, that's Portsmouth. That's what you imagine Portsmouth, isn't it? Yeah. It's not the same this year, is it, Dan? It's not the same.
No, it's not. It's not at all. It's not at all. And I think that's the difference. Is this season, even when we were 3-2 up, they're going to create a couple of chances, which they did do. Norris did a really good save towards the end.
Oh yes, he did. Yeah.
But you just don't feel as panicky as we were the last few seasons. I think the only minor criticism I'd have, the only slight negative, was that I do think in these games where we do go ahead, where we've managed to go in front, I just think he just plays it a bit too negative sometimes. I mean, he's probably done the right thing because we haven't lost, so he obviously knows a little bit more than I do. But it's just like against Reading at the weekend, he took Andrew off and put White on. Mm-hmm. White's never going to do it. White's never going to do anything. He's not going to contribute to a goal. He's not going to assist because he just doesn't. And then he brought Raggett on with 5 or 10 minutes to go, I think it was. And I just think sometimes you just play into the other team's hands. You just sort of like going, right, we've stuck an extra defender in there now. We've now got 3 central defenders there. So it's sort of like inviting the other team to just have a go at you. But, it's working, isn't it? So
I can understand it when you're away. Fair enough, even against a lowly team like Reading, or a struggling team like Reading. I can understand it when you're away. At that time when we did that, when we were at home, where it was only a few weeks ago, wasn't it, where we brought on Towler and Raggett and effectively played like a back 6. That really invited the pressure on, didn't I? I thought it was just kind of unnecessary, especially at home. I don't know, but anyway, we can't, like you say, he obviously knows better. because we are on a run of 26 games unbeaten. Unbeaten this season. Unbeaten in 90 minutes in all competitions this season. And top of the league by 6 points now.
Yeah. And how many games have we been behind in those 15 league games?
Well, it's got to be about 10 now, isn't it?
No, we've been behind 7 of the 15 games.
Of our league games, okay.
And of those 7, we've won 5. We've come back to win.
Good stat, Dan.
Right. Well,
he's the stat man, Dan. Just stop it. Just plug that one out there. Just plug it in. Nice stat. So, top of the league, 6 points. Chesterfield slipped up at home to Wickham. You'd be disappointed if you were Oxford. Sorry, not Chesterfield. Chesterfield's who we have next. They've slipped up twice now, haven't they? They've slipped up two in a row. They were 1-0 up, lost in the 94th, or drew in the 94th minute. They pulled it back in the 93rd or 2nd or whatever minute this time, but you'd still think that's 4 points dropped from Oxford, which is all good for us because
shitting themselves, aren't they? Shitting themselves.
Early doors. They've gone early doors, haven't they? They've bottled it. Well, we'll see if they do. Next up is Chesterfield. We'll talk about the Chesterfield game in just a moment because, Dan, it's time for a classic game show. How do you fancy a classic game show?
I'd love one. I've got one for you as well.
Oh, you beaut. Do you want to do yours first?
Yeah, mine will be very quick. Mine's still play your cards, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I was going to say we brought back play your Pompey cards, right? Dan's going to go with that. Then we'll have a new classic game show.
Oh, I can't
afterwards.
wait.
Hit it.
Right, ready? So, Pompey players, I'll give you your first one and how many goals they scored in a particular season. And I'll give you another player and you've got to tell me whether they scored more or less.
More or less. Higher or lower? Higher or lower.
Right.
Okay.
Your first,
which season are we talking, Dan?
Well, it's random. I'll tell you the season.
Oh, we see. They're all different. Okay, right. Gotcha.
So your first one is 2004, 2005. Yakubu. So that's what, second season in the Premier League, wasn't it?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
How many goals did he score that season? Do you know?
Are we talking Premier League goals only?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
I meant to check that. I meant to double check that stat, but yeah, I'm just going on goals. Goals that season. It could be league. It could be all.
Oh! I think I know this. Because is that the season that he scored 4 in the final game of the season against Middlesbrough to take him up to 19 league goals?
No.
No, it was like the first season.
So it must have been, yeah. So your first one is Yakubu, 2004, 2005. He scored 13 goals.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So your next one, higher or lower, in the 2014-15 season. In League 2, Jed Wallace. Did he score more or less than 13 goals? Jedward Wallace.
Jedward Wallace. No, less.
Less? You are wrong to go less. He scored 14. So your next one, 14, 2018, 2019.
Just a little fact on Jedward. Jedward are now 32, by the way. 32 Jeez. They were the other day.
Still alive.
Go on, next.
2018-19 season, Jamal Lowe, League 1. Did he score more or less than 14 goals?
Well, yeah, 18-19.
19, yeah.
Less.
Actually, I've got the stats here, so I should be able to see whether I'm talking. He scored... You are wrong to go less. He scored 15 goals. Right.
Okay.
So that's so 2020-21.
Yeah.
League 1. The mighty John Marquis. Did he score more or less than Jamal Lowe's 15 goals?
He scored less. We'll continue going less.
Scored less. John Marquis scored more goals.
All right.
So have you noticed the pattern, by the way? Yakubu
Yes.
13, Wallace
Yeah.
14, Lowe 15,
Yeah.
Marcus 16.
Yeah.
Peter Crouch,
Mm.
2001, 2002 season. The old first div.
Well, wasn't it? This was the Poznecki season, wasn't it? I believe.
So did he score more or less than 16?
More. I think he got about 19, 20.
He got 18. You're right to go higher. And you pulled it back with the last one. That was it.
Pulled it back. 1 out of 5.
Well, there you go. Actually, I was going to, as for a tiebreaker, which means nothing because there was nothing to break a tie with. I was going to say who scored more, Benjani in 2007-8 or David Nugent in 10-11. Who scored more? So Benjani, that was the Prem.
Surely.
Nugent was the Championship.
Surely. Oh.
I'm
still going Benjani.
Benjani got 12. Nugent got 13.
I know my stuff.
Been awful.
I know my stuff. I know my stuff. Well, that proves that I don't know my stuff. So therefore, I wouldn't be a pomp master. But would you be a pomp master? Why not apply to be on our game show, which nobody's applied for as yet? 2 people we need to be pomp masters or pomp masters. Anyway, moving on. What we have for you, Dan, is we have a completely pointless little exercise called Pointless Pompey. Yeah.
Oh, Pointless Pompey. I like it.
Now, you will remember the 2008 FA Cup final for one very particular good reason. It was obviously the year that Sol went up to collect the FA Cup. Both teams, they played Cardiff City that day. Both teams named a squad of 16 players.
Yeah.
4 of those players played no minutes during those games. I want you to find any one of those 4 players, either Portsmouth or Cardiff City. It really helped if you knew who the sub-keepers those days, wouldn't it?
I was just about to say, who was the sub-keeper for Cardiff? Because I know it was someone. Yeah.
So there are 4 players of the of the 30. What are we talking? 32 men that were named in the matchday squads at Wembley in May 2008. Who are the 4? Oh, you only have to find one. That's what you have to find. One pointless answer. One pointless answer out of the 4. Right. So you've got 1 minute to think about it, and then I need 3 suggestions, please, from you. Your 1 minute starts now. You can confer with yourself if you like.
Well, that's not going to be much fun, is it? Is this going to be edited then?
Yeah, we can do it. We can edit it down. That's why you can confer with yourself.
I'm trying to think. I know who was the sub goal? Oh, add him then.
20 seconds left.
Come on, the Pompey players. When you tell me them, when you tell me the Pompey players, it's going to be so easy.
3, 2, 1. Okay, Dan, I'm going to need 3 names from you.
I haven't even got 3. I'm going to go with Richard Hughes.
Okay, Richard Hughes. Richard Hughes of Portsmouth, yes. I'm
going to go with Mike Taylor, as in the Cardiff goalie ex-Scummer.
Okay.
But I think he either played or he wasn't even at Cardiff. And I'm trying to think of another Pompey player. So I'm going to go with 2008. 2008. Let's go for someone like Linvoy Primus, that was still there and just sitting on the bench. Let's do that.
Little Linvoy. Okay. So which of those, out of those 3, which is your least likely to be correct?
My least likely is Mike Taylor, because I think that's
Mike Taylor. Okay, which is your most likely to be correct?
Most likely, let's just go for Richard Hughes.
Richard Hughes. Okay, so let's start with Mike Taylor. Is Mike Taylor a correct answer? Boom. It's not. Okay, so who's your second one?
Linvoy.
Okay, Linvoy Primus. Was he a correct answer? And was he pointless? He was not. He was not part of the matchday squad. Final one for the money, for the big money.
I'm not listening to you anymore. I'm still thinking. I'm still thinking of people.
Richard Hughes is Okay. Shall I give you the two Cardiff players who didn't make it on the pitch? Well, it was quite interesting looking at this actually, because do you know what? I don't remember Trevor Sinclair coming on for Cardiff. Do you?
No, blimey. I
And I also don't remember.
I remember they had Aaron Ramsey. I remember that much.
I remember him coming on.
Young
Yeah, because he was
Aaron.
only about 17 at the time, wasn't he? I
Yeah.
remember him coming on. I also don't remember Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank playing for Cardiff that day as well.
Right.
I did once I saw it, but I was like, oh, okay, yeah. The two players that didn't come on for Cardiff were goalkeeper Michael Oakes and defender Darren Purse.
Oh yeah, I know the names. Yeah.
Goalkeeper who didn't come on for Portsmouth
was... see, I didn't even think of a goalie, did I? Didn't even think of a goalie.
No.
It was Begovic.
No, no. Right sort of era, but it was, think older. Think he's been there a long time. Always a number two. Half a little stint where he had number one.
It was... it was... I don't know.
Some people call him Paddy.
Oh, Ashdown. Jesus Christ. Jamie Ashdown.
And if I was to say to you, defender who walloped one in against Newcastle for one of Portsmouth's best ever Premier League goals.
Cabal?
Oh, no. No, it was Noe Pamaro.
Oh, of course it was, yeah. I know.
Noe Pamaro was the other defender, was the other player who did not come on for Portsmouth. There you go. Sorry, you didn't win this time round.
No, that was shite, wasn't it? So we could just cut the whole quiz segment out. just save us looking like a pair of cunts. Stick that on your fucking clips. Stick that on your reels.
Oh dear. I haven't stuck any sweary bits on the reels because I don't know whether they'll get instantly downgraded.
Well, let's find out.
With that though, if you're enjoying these quizzes and doing better than what we are, and if you're one of the 8,000 people who have watched our videos over the last 28 days, which yes, Dan, 8,000. Some of our videos have got over 1,000 views. Believe that.
8,000,
if you will.
Yeah.
But if you are one of those people, why not follow us on Facebook at Pompey Pod? Why not subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is also at Pompey Pod, or follow us on Twitter/X at Pompey Pod. The common link there is at Pompey Pod. Right, let's wrap up with the Chesterfield game this weekend. FA Cup action. 4 ex-Pompey players. I was going to say back in town, but they're not because we're up there, aren't we?
Paul Cook never played.
4 ex-Pompey linked players. You're correct. You know.
Still angry at that pointless.
What pointless? That never happened.
Oh yeah, good point.
No point.
No point.
Yeah, Paul Cook, manager of Chesterfield now. Chesterfield, who sit top of the National League. Now, on paper, you'd think Pompey should comfortably win this, but actually, in reality, probably not, especially away.
Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what I think about this game? I don't really care. I don't really care about it.
No, you don't care at all.
No, I think we'll be all right. Even with a weakened team. So, what do you think? Oh, yeah, I think he'll start with Yengi up top, and he'll drop Bish.
Well, rest Bish. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you don't drop Bish, do you?
No. Okay. All right.
15, 9 and 15. You don't drop Bish. Anyway,
only player.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Norris and Shocknessy that's played. Oh no, only player along with Norris that's played every league game thus far.
Who, Bishop? Oh yes, I suppose he is. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you will, and I think he'll also bring in a couple of other fringes such as White. Maybe a little bit of an experimental. Maybe bring Stevenson in, perhaps in midfield. I think it's a good time to do so, isn't it? I don't think he'll bring in both. I think maybe one.
One. Yeah, I think he will give Shocknessy a rest as well.
Yeah.
I think he'll do.
Yeah, I suppose.
Paul
had a rest a few weeks ago when he was booked, didn't he? So, when he has 5 bookings. So I think you're right.
Swanson will start.
I don't think he'll change the keeper. I think he'll keep with Norris. I think there's a big gap between Norris and Schofield, isn't there? I don't think Schofield's looked all that. What did you say then? Swanson.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just trying to think of a Schofield joke.
You're looking at Schofield Norris link.
I feel better of it. Yeah, I feel better of it. Yeah, Swanson will start. I think you'll stick with Sparks at left. Oh no, yeah, because you got. Oh yeah, yeah. I think Swanson will start over Rafferty. I think he'll start Sparks at left back. He'll play Kamara, Angerin, Lane, maybe Morel or Robertson in there. Yeah,
I think he'll go Morel, Stevenson.
He's got quite a few. Yeah, I think he's got quite a few choices, hasn't he?
Yeah,
quite a few.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I think maybe 5 or 6 changes. I can't see. Well, that's still quite light, isn't it? Maybe 4 or 5 in that case. No, maybe not as many as 6. But it will definitely be changed. But it'd be nice. I think we should get through. It'd be nice to get through. Obviously, it'd be nice to get. I think get to the 3rd round, get a big-ish team, get a decent crowd down at Fratton Park, give them a game, and I think we'll give a lot of a game
last year. Look how well we did last year in the FA Cup away to Tottenham.
That was a nice little away day. It'd be nice though to have a biggish team down at Fratton Park. I think. Always get a nice atmosphere down there. And I think you've got a chance, haven't you, down at Fratton Park? I think especially when you're on the sort of form we're in now. I'm not saying that we will beat a top team, but I think there's some teams in the Premier League who are big teams that I wouldn't necessarily fear this season at the moment. The likes of Chelsea, the likes of Manchester United down at Fratton Park. I think we could give those sort of so-called big teams who are looking pretty ponyish this season a decent game.
Yeah, I think more the middle to bottom.
Yeah,
rather, you
rather than a Spurs, Arsenal, City.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to play any of those at the moment, would you? No, you would not. You'd
like to play them. You just don't expect to beat them, would you?
Oh, you wouldn't give them a game, no.
And it'd be nice to see what our boys are like up against the sort of people they'll be playing against in two years' time.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Anyway, maybe not.
Go on. What's your prediction? Do you want to know Chesterfield's recent form? Okay. Last 3 games they played. York won 4-0. Kettering won 5-0.
Yeah,
Boreham Wood won 2-0.
Yeah, that would be a good deal. Well, yeah, they sound like they're doing all right, don't they? Have they lost? I think
they've lost one. I think they've lost one so far. I've lost the table. It's gone. They've lost one. They have lost one. They haven't. We haven't. No, we haven't. Yeah. They seem quite free scoring, but they also seem to concede quite a few. Which 22 goals in 17 games in the National League. I think that could be the key, couldn't it? We're going to score against them. We will score goals against them for sure. So the other links they also have are obviously Gary Roberts as the number 2 to Paul Cook, Tom Naylor in midfield. They're quite a shock that not a shock. Quite surprised that he's dropped down 3 divisions, in fact, from Wigan to there. And Jacobs, obviously with us last year.
Yeah,
decent player on his day, if he's fit.
Well, yeah. Did he often have a day? I don't. I kept waiting for it. Waiting for the day when he was going to.
5 minutes. He has some decent 5 minute spells, doesn't he?
Yeah. And can you put up a picture of? Can you do this afterwards in the edit? Put up a picture of Maguire or not?
I've got Maguire right here if you want to see him.
Yeah.
He is.
So this is Harry Maguire's twin that's playing for.
Where is he? I say I've got it right here. I've scrolled down.
What's his name? Barry.
Lawrence Maguire. Larry Maguire.
I said Barry, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But here's Larry. Ready?
Yeah.
Here he comes.
Here he is. Look at that. Spitting image of the brother. What does it say? Doesn't even say.
Manchester United, England star, Harry Maguire.
And he's represented England C.
Right,
I wouldn't even be upset if we lost, to be honest.
Would you not?
Because it's nice to get a cup run, isn't it? But
I am. I'd like to get to round 3. I think it's nice to get to round 3 in the FA Cup. I think anything less, especially when you lose to, you can't lose to a team. I think it's just about momentum as well, isn't it? I think sometimes that little thing can break your momentum and you lose a bit of rhythm. I think winning is a good habit to have, and if you continue it, even in the cups where it doesn't really matter. I suppose one of the good things is when we lost to Peterborough in the whatever cup that we don't really care about, the Carabao, was it? We didn't lose our rhythm there, and obviously we bounced straight back and beat them in the next game, didn't we? Quite comfortably.
Yeah.
But you'd definitely say Charlton the following week is a more important game. But yeah, I'd like to see us win, and I think we will. I think we will win by 2-1.
Yes.
Yes. What's your prediction? And I think Yengi will score.
Well, yeah, we had this last week, didn't we? And I told you not to say goals.
Nil-nil.
I don't know. I think I'm going to go for. I think it would be a tight affair in the first half, and then we will win 2-0/3-1 in the second half.
Okay.
It'll be a goal.
But you don't care if we don't.
No,
it's on,
all right. Maybe
ITV,
don't care was a bit strong, yeah. But I just think I wouldn't be distraught if we lost to Chesterfield.
Okay, so it's on ITV, who are generally renowned for being terrible with their pundits and their studio guests, aren't they? And obviously, it's not going to be any big names due to the being the first round of the FA Cup, so it won't be your Roy Keanes or anyone like that. Go on, let's see if we can guess, or Don Goodman.
Jesus Christ, that guy
is
the most easily pleased commentator I've ever known. They should do clips of Don Goodman just saying about, and he's done a fantastic pass there. And it's just like when one defender plays it to the other defender. Jesus Christ, mate. Put your willy away. Just watch football. Yeah. Don Goodman.
Clinton Morrison could be in there, couldn't he?
Clinton Morrison. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Clinton Morrison, Lee Hendry. Who else?
Is there any recent players who might be able to put a two-penny offender who are maybe ex-Pompey, ex-Chesterfield?
Yeah.
What about
Matt Taylor might turn up. He might turn up.
Matt Taylor's always good for that, yeah.
But he's all right.
Yeah. He's not bad. Oh, who's the one? Who's the ex-Wimbledon player and QPR? Not QPR, Reading. White hair. Joby McAnuff. Yeah. He's now doing the rounds on there, isn't he?
Yeah.
In
Have
his,
you seen any
trousers halfway down his calves?
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the
Daniel Sturridge punditry? Have you seen any of that?
No.
You want to check that out? He's great. He talks in rap.
Does he?
Roy Keane isn't a fan. So yeah, check out some of the clips.
Anyway, that's enough of talking shite from Mike and Dan. We'll have a similar one next week. If you want to subscribe and all that malarkey at Pompey Pod, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, do so. As I say, last 28 days, 8,200 views. In fact, 8.2 thousand views is what we've had on mostly our shorts.
8.2 thousand. 8.2 thousand.
This. Yeah. Believe it or not. Anyway, that's about it for the Pompey Pod. So we'll be back after the Chesterfield game, see how that went down. Bye for now.
Bye.